Hey everyone, my name's Sarah and this is my channel, The Sassy Bookworm. So today I'm going to be talking about the books that got me into reading. Now, when I was younger, I didn't really like to read that much. It felt like a chore because you had to read a certain amount or you had to get a certain percent on this AR test as homework basically. And of course, every kid's going to defy against homework. That's just what we do. But then there was some books that I read that I just automatically fell in love with, and I just fell in love with reading. And since then, books have just been my passion. I just love reading. It gets you out of reality. It's just great. Now I hope that this video kind of helps some people find books that would get them into reading. My books are a little different than what most people's are. Most people go for like Harry Potter, Twilight. Those aren't the books that I read. I've actually never read Harry Potter. I know, reader confessions here. Without further ado, let's get into the books that got me into reading. So the first book I have here is the Warrior Cat series by Erin Hunter. Now, I don't remember exactly when I started reading this series. I think I was like 12, so I mean I was like preteen. It's been a while, but I got this at a book fair actually. Of course, I love cats, I still do. Started reading it and then I had to get the next book and the next book, and this series is still going on, which I haven't read any of the new ones just because when I finished reading like the third set of the series, the other books weren't out yet and I just hadn't kept up with it since then. But you know, maybe someday, a little nostalgia, I'll go back and read them all. This book is about cats that live out in the wild that have their own form of like a community. They have like healers, they have warriors obviously, they have a leader, and there's different like clans. The 4 clans are Thunder Clan, Shadow Clan, Wind Clan, and River Clan, which is all due to where they live. It's really cool. It's a really cool system. So this is about a kitty pet, which is what they call indoor cats. His name is Rusty as a kitty pet. He ends up getting out one night and he finds this clan, or they find him, I think. I don't know. It's been a really long time since I've seen or read this. But he ends up getting into a little scuffle with them. He proves his worth, basically, and they let him into the clan. Which, of course, I mean, he didn't have any clue about him to begin with, so, you know, there's that. But he ends up becoming Firepaw. Now, as the series goes on, you see his, like, relevance to the story. And I'm not going to spoil anything. But this book is definitely the one book that got me into reading so much, because after I read this book, I just had to have another book and the next book and the next book. I probably wouldn't be making these videos without this book being there and just changing my whole world for reading. I definitely suggest this book for like younger readers to get you into reading. It's a cute little read. It's not very daunting. It's not very big. So the next book I'm going to talk about is a series I haven't actually heard much about. But my mother actually picked up the book for me one day and she said, oh, I think you might like this. So the next book I have to talk about is The Hollow by Jessica Verday. Now, this book is part of a trilogy called the Hollow Trilogy, I believe. So I can't tell you much about this book just because a lot of things that happen in it are surprises. Like, not a lot of it's on the back of the cover besides Abby's best friend dying. It's really like a Sleepy Hollow retelling, but there's a whole lot of different twists. It's about this girl named Abby who just recently lost her best friend in an accident, which you find out more about later in the book and everything. She goes to the cemetery a lot. When she's there, she sees this boy. This boy's name is Caspian. You're gonna find out a whole bunch more about it in the book if you read it, because there's a whole story, and like I don't want to spoil anything for you because most of it is like you finding out what happened to Caspian, finding out what happened to Abby's best friend, finding out what's going on with Abby. There's a whole lot to it. And by the way, I'm going to make a DIY on how to make this necklace because I have a necklace that looks exactly like this. I'm very proud of it. The Hollow kind of introduced me to more paranormal books, which of course I loved ever since then. It's got like some magical features to it, some little supernatural features, and it's just really good all around. I definitely suggest it. The rest of the series is great. It's just got such good development. It's got such good character building. And let me just tell you, the end of the series is a plot twist and a half. So you should read it. Alright guys, now I've got one more series to suggest. I've heard a lot of people say they don't like this series, but I really loved it. And it kind of introduced me more into like a supernatural kind of feel book. This is actually the reason my favorite flower is red tulips. You'll just have to find out why. You'll have to read the book. That's just how it goes. The last series I have to talk to you about is The Immortals by Alyson Noel. Now this book is a bit different. I've never seen anything like it and haven't seen anything like it since. Obviously it's about people being immortal because it's called the Immortal series. I mean, hello. So this book is about a girl named Evermore, and her family was in a car accident. And it was her mother, father, and her sister, I believe, and everyone died except for her. But ever since this accident, she can see people's auras and read their minds and see things that she's not supposed to be able to see, obviously. And she can see their life story just by touching them, which has gotta be annoying, like, am I right? So after this, she just kind of draws away from everybody. She becomes kind of a recluse. Because she obviously doesn't want to touch anyone until this guy named Damon Augustus comes around. He's new to the town. He's very different than anything she's ever seen before. And what's really weird is when she touches him, everything just goes silent. She doesn't hear people's thoughts. She calms down. So obviously she gets really close to him, and a whole bunch of things happen through this series. You got some cool antagonists. You've got some good protagonists. You've got some good build up to some things. Now some things do get dragged along in this series. This book definitely introduced me to more of like supernatural kind of things, like the whole immortal thing, and then there's some like little magical qualities. So those are the books that got me into reading. So I didn't give great descriptions of these books just because it's been a really long time since I've read them, and in all of these books there are plot twists galore. There are things that you don't find out in the description on the back. You have to read it to find out. So definitely check out the Warrior Cat series if you're trying to get into reading, if you're looking for books that can get you into reading. So I definitely suggest you pick up these books if you're looking into getting into reading, if you're wanting to try a new genre even, because the Hollow series and the Immortal series are kind of what got me into the paranormal, supernatural books, and they're now my favorite books. I love that genre so much. But if you're a younger reader, definitely check out the Warrior Cat series. We all want you to start reading, so just pick it up right now. Go get it. It's called. Question of the day is, what book got you into reading? Leave it in the comments down below, and then maybe you can help someone out as well. Alright guys, so that's all the books I had today to tell you what got me into reading. Like this video, comment, subscribe. Leave in the comments down below what got you into reading. Was it Harry Potter like everyone else, or was it an unheard of series like the Warrior Cats like it was with me? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye! Shadow Clan, and I don't remember. So those were the books that got me into reading. So those are the books that gave